Hey, how you doing? My name is Tyler Griffin. I'm the Vice President of the Winthrop College Republicans.
And my name is Lovett. I am the Secretary of Affairs for the Winthrop College Republicans. And today we have Mr. Sam Vetter. Mr. Sam Vetter was campaign manager for Wes Climer, who defeated Wes Hayes, a 30-year incumbent. Mr. Vetter ran a serious grassroots campaign. He did something, defeating a 30-year incumbent is something you only see on TV movies. And we have the man here. And my first question for Mr. Vetter is, how did you get your start in campaign management?
Well, first off, thanks for the kind words. Honestly, where I got my start, I actually was interested in, just getting involved in the party. So I actually got involved with a presidential campaign in 2008. Heard about it on CN2. They were opening an office, so I decided to go. Made a few phone calls, and decided that I really liked reaching out to people and just trying to convey the message. So when they opened up the Victory office in August, I got a call and basically lived there until November. So I was working a full-time job, and I was working full-time hours at the Victory office. So that's how much I truly liked what I was doing, and that's really how I got my start. I just felt that, I would like to give back to the community in some way. My parents both taught, and I saw how they were able to give back to the community in some way, and I always kind of felt that would be that was something that I would like to do.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of how I got my start.
Is campaigning now a full-time thing for you?
Yeah, it is. Once you get the kind of the bug, it's just there, and you definitely want to be as part of as many campaigns as possible. And I'm very lucky that I've been able to make this a full-time job.
I heard that you were in a few campaigns with the 2016 election.
Yes.
Tell us how many you were?
To say the least. I was involved in 3 different campaigns. I was involved with the Scott Walker campaign at first. He was my number one choice. And then Carly's political action committee, Carly Fiorina's political action committee reached out to me, and I got involved with them. I was really happy to do so, had a lot of fun, met a lot of great people. And then after Carly dropped out in New Hampshire, which is actually where I found out she dropped out, because we went up there for 17 days. After the New Hampshire primary, the next day she dropped out, and I was in contact with the Marco Rubio people, and they offered me a position here, and was very happy to accept that. So I was here during the last week of the South Carolina primary, and then went to Tennessee for about 10 days. Went to Jackson, Mississippi for less than a day, and then I went to Boca Raton, Florida. Was there for about 9 or 10 days, and after Senator Rubio dropped out, I was able to come back and already had something waiting on me.
Non-stop campaigning.
It is.
That's crazy to go from one candidate to the other.
It is, but it's kind of the life of someone that's involved in campaigns. You're constantly on the go.
Right.
If you have to move someplace for a job, you just do it.
Yeah. So we interviewed Wes Climer earlier, and he was very appreciative of all the help you gave him. What was your reaction when Wes asked you to be his campaign manager?
Well, Wes actually spoke to me back in it was late December, and told me he was thinking about running, and asked me, if he did decide to run, that if I would be willing to be his campaign manager. And my first reaction was, wow, I'm shocked that you're asking me. Not necessarily shocked, but just honored actually. And my my answer was yes. That simple. I really respected Wes a lot prior to the campaign. I've known him for a few years. He was a great party chairman for us in York County. I felt that he would be a great senator, and I was happy to come on board.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you did a great job. I mean, obviously you won the elections. I mean,
well, we had a great group of volunteers, and that's really where we ended up winning. that, and we had a fantastic candidate.
Well, talking about you working with presidential candidates in 2016 and working on with a local election in 2016, what would be the biggest difference between those two and on the factor of resources?
Well, resources in presidential election, you've got a lot more to work with. Typically, on local races, you're doing a lot more the grassroots work. I mean, you do that in presidential elections, and that's really the key. But when you go to lower level races, meaning more localized elections, that's how you win a race. It's not necessarily how much money you have, although that definitely helps. It helps get your name out there and helps with materials and whatnot. But really the key is going door to door and actually meeting as many folks as possible face to face, and just conveying the message of the candidate, and basically just educating the public on your candidate. That's pretty much the biggest difference.
Now, is there anything from a campaign perspective, even though you won the campaign, is there anything you would have done differently?
I think there's always a few things that you would look back on. Maybe delegating a little bit differently. There's definitely a few things I guess I could have worked on, but I think overall we did a good job. But yeah, there's always a few things that you look back on and you think, well, maybe I could have done something else. But luckily we had a great team, and for the most part, I don't really think so.
Because there's one thing that Wes really emphasized in our interview with him, is that he was proud that the campaign that you guys ran together was, very honest and above the mudslinging that you see in your national campaigns.
And that's something that I really take pride in. We focused an issue. We had an issues-based campaign. Senator Hayes did as well. He's a great man. It was nothing personal. He is like I said, a great guy. Was a good senator for a long time. Honestly, I just think after 30 plus years in office, I think it's time for a change.
Yeah.
And I think we definitely had a great candidate in Wes Climer, and I'm really I really take pride in the fact that we did run an above board campaign as well as them. We both sides kept it clean, and that was refreshing, because a lot of times, and as you saw in the presidential race, that did not exactly happen. So it was really nice that we were able to do that, and I feel very blessed that I was part of that campaign.
Yeah, you did a great job. What was your favorite moment on the campaign trail?
On the campaign trail, I would have to say, going door to door. I actually thoroughly enjoy that. A lot of people don't, but I mean that's the key to campaigns.
Right.
When you're out there doing the so-called grunt work, I mean that's where you make the impact on voters. One by one, and just educating them on the candidate. I mean that's basically the biggest part of it. I mean, when we started out, we had a 13% name ID. Senator Hayes had he's extremely well known. So we had to, get that up, and we were able to do so. And that, in and of itself, it's really hard to do. And that was, based on the tremendous volunteers that we had, and the great candidate we had as well. So I mean, that's really how we ended up winning, I think.
Now, I remember having a few late night talk with you. It was like the week up to the campaign final votes. How much sleep did you end up getting the last few days leading up to the primary?
It's that last week's always pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. Making sure that you've got everything set to go on election day, and that's basically where you really earn your money and earn the win. So. Yeah, it was rough those last few days, but it was completely worth it. And that's when you're in campaigns. That's kind of what you live for. So those last few days, and making sure that you execute those well. And I think we did a pretty good job.
So what's next?
Well, actually, I'm glad you asked that question. We're getting ready to open up a victory office, and I'm going to be actually managing the office. So we're going to be working with Congressman Mulvaney in that respect. He's got a big race coming up here against Ferran Person, a gentleman from Indian Land. And we're going to, we've really got to work hard here, and we plan on it. We plan on having a big win here, and fully expect to do that. We're also going to have some more localized candidates there as well. So, it's going to be an office for everybody. We would love to get, everyone involved. And I'd also like to give out my information. So when this is up, we'll probably have an office location. Please give me a call at 803-984-1171.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say? I mean, is there any other things from the campaign you'd like to share with us?
Actually, just the win that night was it was special. Going around and getting results from the polls. If you're not aware, that's basically how we get the poll numbers faster, because each polling location will give their results to voter registration down in York. The faster way for us to actually get the results is to go to each precinct, drive there, and they actually post like a tally sheet on the door that shows you the actual results. So we had our amazing volunteers going out and doing that, and I went out and did that as well. Going out and to certain precincts, that you're probably not going to win, and then seeing that we're closer than we thought, and that really makes you feel good. And then there's some other precincts that we felt we would do good in, and we did really well. And I didn't go to all of them, of course, so I was kind of in the dark. I went to probably about 10 or 11. So everyone else was going back to Wes's house to kind of get ready for the victory party. And I was still out. We had probably 10 boxes left, or maybe 8. Wes gave me a call and said, "Look, we're up 300 votes. Just keep going." So that really lit a fire under me, because I did not know where we were at the time. And that was, I was on cloud 9 at that point, and I was just counting the boxes down as I went. 7, 6, 5. And then I called Wes, and then there was a few other people getting a few others. And then I was at Catawba Baptist Church. I can't remember. I think it may have been Neely's Creek Precinct. And I got the numbers from there. We won. Gave Wes a call, and he said, "Look, we're still up 300 votes. We've got one precinct left. Unless something big happens, we've just won." And I literally just started jumping up and down and screaming as loud as I could, and I actually was hoarse a little bit.
You have all the right to be. That's amazing.
That was probably the most special moment of the campaign. Just finding out that hey, we've just beaten a 31-year incumbent. So that was probably the biggest thing.
Nothing gets better than that.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much for your work. Because it is, like Leslie mentioned earlier, it's just so unprecedented for something like that to happen. It's very rare. So thank you for all your hard work. Regardless of the candidate. It was amazing to beat an incumbent that's been in there for 30 years.
Yeah, it's Senator Hayes is like I said, a very good man, and very well liked, and very well respected. So I think it's just a testament to the volunteers we had, and the voter contacts we made. That's really how we ended up winning. And I just once again thank everybody that was part of that race. We changed. That was the biggest win of the primary season. So
hope everything goes well at the victory office. And if you want to say the number, what's the number again for that?
Yeah, my cell phone number is 803-984-1171. So just feel free to give me a call, and we'll get set up there, and I'll put you to work.
All right, we got lots of college students, so we'll get them to work.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Sam.